Hello and welcome everyone to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. I'm Sam, your host, and you're watching Daily Immigration Dose. So today we are back again with another very exciting episode that we are going to have in this session. But before that, let me read out this very important disclaimer. By watching our videos, you understand that the information shared, including user comments, is not a professional advice. So use it at your own risk. Our intention is never to offend, it's just a casual exchange of ideas. All right, so it's very much clear about the disclaimer that we have read just now. So, thank you so much, everyone, for joining in today's session, and we'll be live for an hour. So, try to utilize this time by commenting, by sharing your thoughts, and by providing as much different perspectives, as much different opinions that you can. And the best part of today's session is that you can also join us by dialing the number that is visible on the screen. That is 425 with the access code 988888. So it would be great if you could join us and let us know about not only about the topic but anything that you want to share with us. And also, the another best part about today's session is that I'll be joining by my co-host Nipasa Pradhan, and she's like one of my very good co-hosts because we literally talk a lot and we share lots of information. So thank you so much, Nipasa, for joining, and I'm really looking forward to this session. And how are you doing right now?
Thank you so much, Sam. It's really always great to be back here with Daily Immigration Doors with you. I always look forward every day, Monday to Friday, since we get to meet and chat about different things about immigration. And today, as well, is going to be another great session. So I'm telling all you folks out there to stay tuned because we have a lot to discuss and a lot to share. So it's going to be all about immigration, especially what we had highlighted this week. So stay tuned for sure for today's episode.
Absolutely. And with that, today we are going to talk about this week in immigration, what's happening and why it matters. So it will be like a proper brief session, whatsoever we covered in the this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, each day, all the topics that we covered. We are going to take up each topic separately, and we are going to have a brief about like what happened or what we all can talk about it. So I think it's going to be a very great session that it will be a gist of all the days, all the topics that we covered till now in this week. And with that, as our process goes with the news update, so let me go with my very first news update that I would like to share with our viewers. And that's about most important is that February 2025 visa bulletin is out. And there's also good news for India and China that we can see a better date. There's towards initiative step that has been taken in this visa bulletin, and Indians and Chinese they can have a better chance this now. With this, also, it shows progress of green card applications, and there's also that visa bulletin has a good news for people, as I mentioned, from India and China. And applicants, especially for the EB2 and EB3 categories, saw slight improvements in the dates, meaning they are one step closer to receiving their green cards this time. And for Indian applicants, the dates moved forward by 2 weeks, and for China, it has been moved forward by 1 month. And for most other countries, there was no change, meaning the applications remain stuck in the same place as before. Moving ahead with my next news, that is about huge fire at California battery plant forces nearby residents to evacuate. So on January 16, 2025, there was a large fire that broke out at the Vistra Energy battery storage plant in Moss Landing, California. And the plant, which stores lithium batteries used in renewable energy projects, was properly engulfed in flames, and the thick smoke forced about 1,500 people, who were living nearby to leave their homes for safety purpose. And the firefighters they worked throughout the day and night to control the fire, but somehow it didn't help and it remained difficult to put out. Also, the cause of the fire is still unknown and is being investigated. So, this is another very important news that I wanted to address in front of our viewers. And next news is about Trump's inauguration day. So, Trump's inauguration day is expected to be the coldest in 40 years. So, the weather forecast for Donald Trump's upcoming inauguration on Monday, January 20th, predicts it will be the coldest inauguration day in the last 40 years. because the temperatures in Washington, D.C. are expected to drop to the low 20s, with wind chills making it feel like just 10 degrees. Even a cold weather system, known as polar vortex, is moving into the area at that day. And it is making more important for everyone to attend the ceremony to dress warmly. So these were some of the major news updates that I wanted to address in front of our viewers. And the next news updates will be shared by my co-host Nipasa Pradhan. Nipasa, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Sam, for those really important updates. And yes, we're all excited for Day and when Trump is joining office. So thank you so much for those. I also have a couple of news updates, and this first one is about landmark immigration consultants IPO oversubscribed by 5.97 times on day two. So, Landmark Immigration Consultants IPO has garnered overwhelming interest, being oversubscribed by 5.97 times by the second day of bidding on January 17th. That's right. And the company aims to raise about 40.32 crores of rupees, through a fresh issue of 56 lakhs shares. And with a price band set at rupees 70 to 72 per share, and this is in Indian rupees. Retail in Retail investors led the demand with 10.29 times their allocated quota, followed by non-institutional investors at 3.87 times and qualified institutional buyers at 1.13 times. A total of 2.83 crore shares were bid for against an offer size of 47.52 lakh shares, and the IPO closes on 20th of January, setting a strong foundation for companies' growth in the global education consultancy space. Next up is Tracy Mann pushes immigration reform, sports legislation, and gun rights agenda. Yes, U.S. We have Tracy Mann of Kansas, has who has outlined a bold agenda addressing key national issues, and Mann's emphasized the need for comprehensive immigration reform tied to stricter border security and streamlined work permits, especially to support Kansas's agricultural sector. And he backed the Lake and Riley Act, aiming for tougher detention measures on undocumented immigrants involved in minor offenses, despite concerns over due processes. So, on sports legislation, Mann also supports defining gender in athletics based on biology under Title IX, seeking to restrict transgender participation in women's sports to ensure fairness. Additionally, he is advocating for national reciprocity for concealed carry permits, allowing Kansas to travel across state lines without conflicting with local gun laws. Mann's proposals resonate with conservative values while sparking significant debate on equity and individual rights. I have another update, and that is Trump faces internal GOP divide over high skill immigration policies. So, as Donald Trump prepares for his second term, a split within his political coalition has emerged over the issue of high skilled immigration. And while Trump's tech allies, including Elon Musk, advocate for expanding immigration to fuel innovation, the MAGA wing of his base, led by figures like Steve Bannon, opposes such moves. Trump has expressed support for high skill immigration, particularly for foreign born graduates of US universities, arguing that they contribute to economic growth and innovation. However, past policies focused on restricting immigration, raising questions about whether his stance will shift in the future. As the debate continues, the outcome will have significant implications for the US economy and the tech sector. So these were a few updates from my end, and I hope, yes, let's go on with our topic for today. And folks out there, you are also free to join us. All you have to do is dial this number 425-436-6335, and the access code is 988-888. Well, apart from that, you can also comment in whichever platform you're watching us. We are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and on X. So join us and comment.
Right. And I think about the Lake and Riley Act also, Napasa, that you mentioned, and that's a very new update that we are going through it. And friends, that video about Lake and Riley Act and why is it implementing, what are the new rules, everything, we also have it on our channel. So you can also check out Immigration and Jobs Talk Show channel, and you can go through this video. All right, and with that, I think now we should talk upon today's topic, and that's about the week, the immigration that all we talked about in this week. So we are going to take up the first week, the first day, that's of Monday. So on Monday, Nabasa, I think we talked about can Trump and Musk vision for H-1B visas change the US immigration policy? Right. So I think in this session, we actually talked about there was some current debate that was going between in Trump's administration. And I think talking about that before the current debate, there's also Trump's vision and then Musk vision also that we shared in that session. And it was more about like what Trump is believing, what Trump had also believed in his first term regarding the H-1B workers. And this time we are going to see very much, different ideology of Trump because now he's not anymore with his agendas, but he's also getting influenced with Elon Musk agenda. And there's a completely different, there's a contrast between these two ideologies because Trump is not very much into H-1B visas because he's more into America first. And H-1B workers are also there for him, but only for the purpose, like till the time the American people are getting benefit, then only he's going to, allow the H-1B workers, but won't give much preference to that. And on the other hand, if we look into Elon Musk vision, then he is like a complete supporter of H-1B workers. And I think that's very much fair enough because in his Tesla company, if we could see, then there are more H-1B workers present as compared to the own US born people over there. So there's a lot to discuss on this, and especially regarding their perspective, regarding their agendas. So I think let's make it a more interactive one, and you can also share, friends. What do you think about Elon Musk vision? Are you in favor of Elon Musk, or are you in favor of Trump, or whatsoever you are feeling right now? You can also share that, and also Napasa, why don't you go ahead and share something about like Trump's agenda or Trump's vision or Elon Musk vision? I mean, anything that you would like to talk upon.
Well, Elon, for sure, he is supporting immigrants and he really is emphasizing more on the need for high skilled immigrants. You know, he has been saying that time and again. And it's true for sure that, even companies like his, whether it's Tesla or many others, big tech giants or even others, it's for sure that, highly skilled workers are much, much needed. And well, if they are immigrants, yes, be it, if Americans can, I mean, if there are immigrants who could be more qualified or more innovative, then that is what Elon has been supporting, and he still wishes that. And apart from that, well, we have Trump, who is very, very consistent in saying that he's going to make immigration hard. And even though he has been saying that we would need some, I mean, America first. He says America first for sure. So by that, if he means Americans first, then he will probably give preference more to Americans. And he has been saying no to illegal immigration, which is very, very right on his path, So talk about it, then well, it's not like they are completely contrasting each other, but yes, their views differ a little bit, especially with regard to high skilled immigration. And well, I think we all support Elon. What do you say, folks? I mean, if you are in America or outside America, please tell us what are your views. It'll be really nice to know, what do you think about Elon's perspective on, and even Trump's perspective, and who do you probably side. I know it's very hard to take sides, but yes, it'll be really nice to get your point of view. And meanwhile, I would also like to read up some comments which we have from Chandra and Priya. So Chandra is saying, Immigration policy is constantly evolving, no doubt about that, and it was a central issue during President Trump's first term, and it's likely to continue to be a focus area in his second term, for sure, and especially much more because America is a land of immigrants, right? And wait, we'll come more to that. And Chandra is saying, I keep hearing that immigration policy I keep hearing that immigration policies should reflect that what the majority of Americans want. But how can we actually determine public opinion on this? Are there specific studies or polls that carry more weight when it comes to shaping these policies? Well, there are a lot of things which shape these policies, and I think one of the major departments is the Department of Homeland Security. I think yes, and also like the administration. You know, which administration is coming to function, right? And as you've said it earlier, that it is very dynamic and changing all the constantly evolving. So yes, it is true. I mean, when there is administration change, or even when there are, I mean, there are new rules coming up whenever, with, with regard to immigration, right? I mean, when you talk about just H-1B alone, earlier it was a little different, and then it became beneficiary centric, and now we hear more new rules
Yeah.
being released, and we have new forms starting today. I think the I-90 form is also a very new one, which has an update. So, folks, I think it's always very important to stay updated. I mean, especially if, with regard to immigration, if you are an immigrant and living in America, or if you are planning to immigrate to America to work or as a student, it's very important to, know all the rules, know the laws, know the new updates, and follow each of them.
Absolutely. And I think that's very well said, Napasa. You also have given us the gist about Trump's and Elon Musk vision, and you are saying that it's not completely contrasting. I mean, absolutely, that's a thing that we can understand. But also, there can be a reason that Trump and Elon Musk, they both are a businessman. So they have that same quality, same niche, and that's why they may be aligning together in the same agenda, and that can also be the reason. But with that, I would like to say, Chandra, thank you so much, and the answer that Nepasa you have given, I think that's very well explained. And with that, also, friends, as we are talking about. Trump and Musk vision for H-1B visas, change US immigration policy about this episode. And there we also covered, not just the visions or not just the ideas of Trump and Elon, but we also understood that there's a good connection, between these two people, and they're building up a better friendly relation with each other. And also there was another very big news that is about the current debate, that's going on. And the current debate, I mean, not the current, but it has been recently now, and that's about the Indian origin entrepreneur Sri Krishnan, who is actually going to be the senior policy advisor for AI and in Trump's administration. And Krishnan has suggested to remove the country caps on green cards. And this was actually the major debate, that took place in this episode, and also that's happening around, like why most of the people are being so concerned and about Trump's and Musk, So that's because Sri Krishnan has also commented and said that it's better to remove the country caps on green cards, but it's something that cannot be happen, and it's something that's very impractical also, because imagine like there won't be any limitation to any country, and there won't be any adjustments, like how many cards will be available to that particular country. And this is going to be very risky, and this is going to be like against the laws also, because it's not possible practically. I mean, what do you think, Nepasa? Do you think, because we already discussed, but still, for our viewers to have a pretty gist on it, do you think it's possible also? And do you think it's going to be a good idea if there won't be any limitation to the green cards? Because I don't think it's going to be good. So, what's your call on that?
There should be a limit for sure, but what I'm saying is it could be proportionate, because when you look at India or China or highly populated countries like these,
Mhm.
The 7% for each country is not so okay, because there are other countries who don't even use up even 5% of this, right?
Right.
So it should be a little proportionate, is what I can say, depending on the population, or I don't know how can they make that.
Mhm.
But if this could be made proportionate, it would be better.
Absolutely. And that's what we discussed in that episode also, that it should depend upon the population. Because, that will be a much better way. Each country has different population and each country have different H1B visa categories also, then H1B limitations as well. So I think it should depend upon the proportionate, and that's how, we can get a better visa process also and a better immigrants as well, because there's a rush going on. Everyone just they want to go ahead and take a job in US, want to settle down, and because of so much, abusing system, also the misusing of immigration system that we are seeing right now is really very sad to know about it. And most of the people, those who are actually deserving, they are also not getting chance because of the system.
Mhm.
So, but we hope that in the Trump's administration, we can see a slight change in the system and we can see a better improvement, especially for the H1B workers who are highly skilled, who are highly talented, and they deserve a better quality of life, that too in US. So I think
Right.
that's all we can expect. And I think, Napasa, before telling our concepts about different topics that we took each day, let's also take up Priya Patel's comment. And Priya is asking about, do you think Americans see immigrants as contributors to the economy through taxes and labor, or do they mainly worry about immigrants taking jobs from US citizens? That's very well put up, Priya. And I think, it's a very important question right now, because I think the whole America is divided into two groups. That's like immigrants and anti-immigrant party. And it's not actually, anyone is not very much rational towards it, because it's a mix up. Most of the immigrants who are legally working over there, they are contributing a lot in the US economy. And after all, America is land of immigrants. So there's a reason behind this statement. This is a very big statement, and that to not given to any other country but only to US. And most of the Americans, if they think that they are not giving much contribution towards US economy, I think it's not true, because it's very obvious. H1B workers, they are working over there. EB2, EB5 category workers also there, and they are doing wonderful things. They are giving a lot to US economy by paying tax, and also the labor work is also there. But
Yes.
yeah, Nepasa, what would you like to add on that? And after that, we will come. I mean, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I think, yes, Priya, you've made a very good point out there, and it's so true what Sam has just said. There are people out there who really think that immigrants are taking away jobs from the US citizens, but it's not true entirely, because it's not like there are no jobs for Americans, or that they wouldn't be able to take up the jobs which immigrants took from them. Right. I mean, another thing is about whether it's H1B, or especially H1B, it's about talking about specialty occupation. And if I mean, these jobs are special, and if there are Americans who can fill in these special occupations, then they wouldn't need to hire in the first place. I mean, there itself, these people would be disqualified to register themselves under the H1B lottery or the cap, and you know what I mean. But the main thing about H1B is like, they have to prove that there are no Americans who can fill in that place, right? That's the
Mhm.
job of employers. So I mean, that's another main point that you can see. And if there are Americans, as in like born in America, if they are available, or if they can fill in that job with all their qualifications, then they would be preferred first anyway. Trump
Absolutely.
or no Trump. That's what I'm saying.
And it's a very major part also to understand, because most of the people, they are saying that the immigrants or the H1B workers, they are snatching away their jobs. And I don't know why, but they don't find it deserving, that the other people from the other country, they come to their country and earn. But because, most of the time we have seen the H1B workers, they have been criticizing a lot, they have been discriminated a lot. Because statistically also, if we are going to see, then the money, I mean the wages, the US born people, they are getting the same role, the same job, the same position. The
Yeah,
H1B workers, they also have, but still they are paying less, I mean getting
getting paid
paid
less.
less.
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing, nobody wants to settle down in less money as compared to the same job role that the other person is getting. And only because of that nationality factor, they are also sacrificing a lot, by not getting as much payment. And it's not just about payment, it's also about the
Mhm.
respect, because it's
True.
somehow similarly, proportional to each other. And
Yes, I'm sure like there should be a sort of more fairness, especially when you talk about wages and salaries with this regard, you know. And well, yes, people. I mean, it's true in so many ways that immigrants are being paid less than if Americans would be working in that position, right?
yeah,
And I just hope that it is not the reason why the Americans are hiring cheaper labor. You know what I mean? So I really hope that's not the case. And, you know, as we had spoken about this earlier, I think what we need here is more transparency. What is happening? Why are they getting the job and not American? So that, you know, these questions are not asked, or they're not put up, you know, or everywhere out there, and they don't have answers. It's all guesswork, where you and I are just guessing. And we, you know, what we really need is more transparency, seriously, in every case, whether it's wage matters, or whether it's the position, or whether it's the specialty occupation that was given to this immigrant and not an American. Everything should be more transparent, and I really hope that this comes in the future.
I do also prefer this, and I do hope that it happens in maybe in 2025, because 2024 has brought up so much disturbance and so much messed up things, especially regarding the immigration concept. We have been seeing lots of crimes, lots of misuse, lots of abusive things also, that we have gone through different news updates, and that were very much sad, and that was like not acceptable, that like these things can also happen. And that's why most of the people, they are becoming anti-immigrant, and they're also not favoring immigrants. But friends, it's not about that. I think if the people, if they are working in your country and if it's benefiting your nation, then I think it should be all about like work together, go ahead together, and have that unity, because they are also working for your nation. They're also working for themselves also. So it's going to be a very cooperative kind of thing, and everything will go
Yeah.
well if we all have
Yes,
that.
and
Mhm.
sorry, yeah.
No, no, please
Sorry,
go.
go on.
You please go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just saying that, you know, there are immigrants who are entrepreneurs and innovators who are also creating jobs for Americans out there.
Yeah.
So I think we should look at that factor too, that they're not just taking, or I mean, how Americans feel that they're taking away the jobs, but they are creating so many jobs also. So what
Absolutely.
about that?
And even the most big example, Elon Musk, who is like trending in today's Google, he is the one who is actually an I mean, immigrant. And
Immigrant.
he is working, I mean, he has been like a great example of immigrant, and now the people of America, they are not having any problem regarding Elon Musk, because he has established that position right now. So I think it depends upon the people also, when there's a struggling phase that's going on, there are most of the people who are going to point you out. But once you reach to that position, once you are when everyone understand that yes, because of this person, the whole nation is getting a lots of benefits in monetary terms, so nobody is going to question that. So I think immigrants, they are going to do wonders, and they are going to be like wonderful for your nation, and going to have lots of benefits with that. And I think, yeah, with that, let's continue with Priya's comment that she has shared. Also, lots of Americans seem concerned about border security, but they also want to ensure immigrants contribute to the economy. How do policymakers balance these? Nipasa, what would you like to say on that?
Well, border security is much needed. I mean, whichever country you talk about, and especially that America is sharing borders, say it be Canada or Mexico. And, well, we also have, others, we have the what I wanted to say is border security. When it comes to that, I think the main concern is illegal immigrants, so we should check on that for sure. But they also want to ensure immigrants contribute to the economy. Yes, they are contributing, and they will make sure that they keep continuing to do that, especially with the um, innovators and highly skilled workers. How do policymakers balance these? Well, the balance is yet to be found, I think, especially when we talk about proportionate, not being proportionate with regard to where supply and demand matters.
Mhm.
And that is what I'm talking about when we spoke about the green cards, right? But
Yeah,
apart from that, the contributions that immigrants make to the economy, it's great because they're paying taxes. They are really contributing to the economy by being innovative, by bringing in new business as entrepreneurs, creating new jobs, and yes, everything else. They are contributing to the economy greatly. And if you talk about highly skilled workers, even in big tech giants, you will see a lot of immigrants are working there, Indians included, Chinese included. So what about that? I mean, it wouldn't be what it is right now. The picture would be totally different without these highly skilled workers in these companies. So yes, they are contributing to the economy with making America at number one. And these immigrants, they do not have a problem with America being number one
yeah,
because America being number one is a proud thing for them as well. So if these tech giants are at number one, it is a win not just for themselves but also for the nation, and that is America.
absolutely. And I think if the best talented people are coming to your country to make your country only number one, I think what else could be better than that, right? Because there are different countries. We have so many countries all throughout the world. But majorly the amount of highly skilled, talented people, especially from each country, they goes to US. So I think it's automatically understood thing that blindly it's going to benefit. But yeah, for the other concept, if we talk about the illegal ones, then absolutely that's a very major concern, and that's a very important issue, that most of the time we have been gone through. And also about the border security, I think, Priya, if you're concerned about the border security, then that's a major thing because right now the illegal immigrants, they are crossing the border, especially from US Mexico border, as we have seen. And this is something that people are misusing the immigration system, and this shouldn't happen. But as borders are torn home, and we are going to see in this year, so we can hope some very strict rules, very strict policies that may come in the borders are border security things. And I don't think that now, because the stricter policies will be there and stricter immigration rules will also be there. So we can hope to see less illegal immigrant in this year. And, this way the whole nation will be a better one. There will be more positiveness. There will be more optimism, if the illegal immigrants will go out, because illegal immigrants are more into criminal activities and obviously they are not legal. So we can expect this thing. And yeah, I think that's what I wanted to say. And with that, Napasa, why don't we go ahead and come back to our topic as we were talking about the debates. So I think this is all, we talked in the Monday's episode, everything about Trump's vision, everything about Elon Musk vision, and also how the debate rise up and what was the debate all about. So I think we have covered this. And coming back, Napasa, we have covered on Tuesday, top five countries to consider Indians who can find affordable citizenship program. So we
Mhm.
talked about like Canada, New Zealand, Turkey. Then I'm not remembering each country's name, but I think it would be great if you could.
Australia, I think, yeah.
No, yeah, please go ahead.
No, yes, I mean, we were talking about
We talked
Sorry.
about five
We spoke
countries.
about, yes, can
Yeah.
Indians find affordable citizenship programs? And we spoke about different countries, and we spoke about Canada. We spoke about,
New
I
Zealand,
think,
Australia.
New
Then
Zealand, Australia. Yes,
Turkey
we
was
spoke
also
about,
there. Yeah.
yes, 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 for sure.
Mm.
So if we talk about Canada, yes, it is very, very welcoming when we talk about immigrants, because we hear so many immigrants there in Canada as well, and they have their mini nations there, maybe a mini India, and even a mini Punjab for that matter, and so many other communities from the world. They have been living there not just for a few years now, but for generations.
Right.
So it's, yes, I mean, it's not just friendly, but it's also, I mean, affordable, right? When we spoke about it, if you remember,
We
we spoke
actually,
about,
yes, we
yeah.
spoke about that Canada provides such a good education, such a good infrastructure, but still it's quite expensive as compared to a middle class Indian family. Right. And we also, I think, got a conclusion that Turkey was the one, that we suggested to our viewers that Turkey will be very easy, very convenient for the Indian families if they are looking forward to move ahead or to live permanently in any different country. So I think Turkey was the one. And you also mentioned about Turkey food, it's the great one, that one I remember right now. So yeah, that was the one. And please go ahead, Nipasa.
Yes, and we spoke about two major islands, and one of them is Australia, and the other is New Zealand. Two very beautiful islands where you can also start off a new life, a new career there, and they are very, very affordable also.
Mm.
Especially when you talk about New Zealand, it's much, much affordable than Australia, or even Canada for that matter. So yes, I think you should not just look at it that way, but there are beautiful, picturesque views, and even security wise, they are very, very secure, because frankly, they are not sharing borders with any country, because they are island countries,
Mhm.
and yes, that's one big reason. And not just security, but even health benefits and even education benefits is what you receive in these countries.
Yeah,
So
right.
I remember
And
that.
I think New Zealand is, one of the most beautiful country also to look upon. So it would be great, friends, if you could also look for it, because it depends upon your own choice. What you are looking for. If you want to move to a different country, then it completely depends upon you. If you want to look forward towards your work, towards your education, I think Canada would be the best one. But with that, it can be a little expensive also, but in return it's going to give you a great education, great work also, great financial status. And for the culture, or for the food also, if you are looking to move to a different country, then I think Turkey will be great, and it's less expensive, it's affordable also for Indians. And I think New
Mhm.
Zealand can give a different look, as it is more beauty. I mean, beautiful scenarios are over there. So the
Yes.
one who are more into the nature, who are more into, the I would say the scenic beauty of the nature, they can look for it and they can go ahead with that. Yeah. So that's what
Yes.
we discussed on that day. Mhm.
And also, what I can add is, though many countries out there, they can feel dangerous, often with so many news, with bad news and bad events. But New Zealand is somehow one of the most safest places in the world, and it ranks second just after Iceland. So I think yes, it can be much, much safer than even major cities like London, New York, or even Paris. And I think, yes, it is the second safest country in the world, just after Iceland. And people in New Zealand, they have a very relaxed attitude, and you will really feel safe walking around their cities. So, and also, as Sam has mentioned about the wildlife and the beauty. Yes, it has less threatening
Right.
animals or reptiles, even. So, yes, there are no dangerous spiders or no crocodiles or snakes. So, but then, yes, there could be big sharks if you want to swim in the waters. And if you're afraid of snakes, I think New Zealand is the perfect place for you to visit.
I think everyone is afraid of snakes. There's no one who's not. But also,
Even yeah. Oh, all sorts of
right.
reptiles, even lizards creep me out. So I can only imagine crocodiles. They'll be huge. huge lizards.
I swear, I also feel like that. And even in Australia, also, I think people who are watching us from Australia, they're very much aware of it. They're very much familiar that even, like snakes, cats, dogs, and different, like deer. So there are different animals whom you can see just walking on the road, just like a normal, their homes are there.
Australia, you're saying?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, Australia.
Yes,
It is
kangaroos. How
there.
can you forget? Just imagine
Kangaroos.
being kicked by a kangaroo.
Absolutely. There are people, who are walking on the road and they are meeting kangaroos, and kangaroos are also there and greeting them. So it's like not, difference, a difference between the animals and the humans. It's all together. They all are living together, even in home. So this is something that different way,
No offense,
humans
but
must
yeah, I mean, we don't know, and we're not trying to,
offend anyone. It's just a normal.
offend or share any wrong news. It's just what we're casually talking about. Of course, it's cats and dogs today, but just generally saying, yes.
Absolutely. All right. And with that, we had shared our views in the second episode, and we talked about like five top countries, especially for the Indians, where they can shift and where they can have a permanent residency, and that's basically affordable. So I think, friends, you can go ahead and look on that session, and you can choose or select your best country that you would like to go ahead. And I think on the third day, we talked about the Trump's inauguration, who's in, who's out, and why. So in this, we talked about major leaders, everyone like from Italy, Giorgia Meloni, the prime minister who was invited and who will be joining Trump's inauguration day. Then also China's President Xi Jinping, who was invited, but he is not going to join. Instead of him, his attendee is going to join, or his maybe some assistant going to join. And also different, also Prime Minister from Hungary, also Viktor Orban, then Argentina's president, and President of El Salvador, then Japan's foreign minister, and also India's external affair minister, Subramanyam Jaishankar, is also invited in Trump's inauguration day, and they'll be joining, and they'll be having a celebration, to have this day celebrate as much as they can. After all, the most important, the US, I would say, US nation that depends completely upon. I mean, that's independent, but the whole scenario, the whole decision of US depends upon, the whole world. So
Mhm.
that's what we discussed on that day. And Napasa, also, if you could add on something about our third episode on this week, then it would be great.
Yes, we also saw that former US presidents will be attending, right? Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and even Bill Clinton will be present, though Michelle Obama will not be attending. And despite all the tensions between Joe Biden and Trump, even Joe Biden is going to attend
Yeah.
the inaugural ceremony, which is going to happen. And this really proves that he is dismissing all the, controversy around his around his presence, and just avoiding it just like a childish game. So it's really nice to see this sport, and we had said it's really cool because it's like the sportsmanship spirit that they're sharing. And apart from that, of course, you have we had also mentioned about tech giants who are going to be attending, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and yeah, many more. So many people are attending. Celebrities are attending. They're going to be singing, and so much is going to happen. So I really hope that everybody's getting ready for the inaugural ceremony that's coming up.
It's going to be in a very grand way. Concerts will be there, then lunch will also be there. Then it was also understood that Trump is going to have lunch with his family. Then he's going to have tea time with different people also. Then
He's going to start the day with praying at St. John's, right?
right,
Washington.
right. Then
Yeah.
different concerts will also be there. So it's going to be a full on, grand celebration. After all, Trump is going to be back in the White House. And also, there's another um, very important thing that, all throughout, like whomsoever Trump has invited, whether it's from Italy, New Zealand, El Salvador, India, every minister are coming, but except Xi Jinping, and that's from China's president. So that's a pretty controversial thing because It's not very much, I would say, favorable towards the China or the US relation, but we can't expect anything like that because, if the president is not coming in the Trump's inauguration ceremony, then it states something is going on between them, or something is like maybe uncovered, or something is like cold between the two, the relation, right? What do you think, Napas? I mean, is it something to do with the relation between these two nations, or what it is? They are just simply not interested in coming.
Well, we don't really know. It could be some really important thing that he cannot miss out on in his country because, like every other leader of their country, they're going to keep their country first, right? So I'm sure there could be some important reason that they're not coming. I mean, he's not coming. And apart from that, if it is controversial, it could be something else. Maybe it could also be something related to Trump, raising higher tariffs with regard to China and their trade
Mhm.
as far it really concerned. And well, we never know what else is coming up because we heard so many things, like even COVID-19, where it started from, and we don't know if something like that is still there or coming up. We don't know really what is really happening, but let's not even go there because these are just thoughts and everything is coming. And yeah, HMPV virus, some we hear so many things, right? So we
And
maybe
also, the
yes.
great thing is that, maybe the president from China, he may not come, but the great thing is that the former president of US, Barack Obama, then also Joe Biden, they are coming. They are attending the Trump's inauguration ceremony. So I think, yeah, as you said, it's a very sportsmanship spirit. And also, they have been like, now that's okay. It's a part of a game that it's not possible for everyone to do
Yeah, and they've, if
each.
you look at it, they've all worked for the same nation with, high interest on their nation to be able to keep their nation, America, in the best possible place when it comes to economy, when it comes to
Right.
technology, and everything in every matter. They want to see their country first, no matter who the president was. So, yes.
Absolutely. And that's how it has been all throughout the years. And I think now also, people are cherishing this fact, and people are really looking forward towards Trump administration. So I think we can expect so much, and we have been seeing even the inauguration ceremony is going to celebrate in a very good way, in a very grand way, and we will definitely look upon it. And it's also going to be very much interesting, which country president are coming, which country prime minister are joining, then what else do they comment on Trump's inauguration ceremony. So there's so much to look upon. And also, this event is going to be one of the biggest event, I would say, in 2025 that we can look upon. And I think with that, we already talked about the Wednesday's show that we took the topic that was Trump's inauguration, who's in, who's out, and
Yes.
why.
Yes.
So now I think, Napasa, should we go ahead with our next episode, or is it?
Sure, we can. And I think before that, we'll just take up Ravi's comment. So, hi, Ravi. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. He's saying if Elon Musk supports making it easier to get H-1B visas, how do you think that might change things for foreign workers wanting to come to the US? Well, it would really be different, unlike, Sri Ramakrishnan, who is an Indian, made the comment like that, and it became so controversial, right? Removing caps on green cards, and if Elon Musk supports making it easier to get H-1B visas, which he has been saying, yes, yes. And how do you think that might change things for foreign workers wanting to come to the US? Um, Again, here it'll come to the same thing because these are just ideas and who is going to comment what, but the main thing that matters is rules and laws. They are not changing, and whatever the rule or the law, they have to be followed. So H-1B also has so many criterias where you need to qualify to be able to register yourself under that visa, file your H-1B visa. So if you meet all those criterias, then yes, you will be able to do that. And whether it's Elon Musk supporting, the whole of Trump's team supporting, rules are rules and rules are to be followed.
Absolutely. And I think, if we can see like Trump is supporting the H-1B workers, but without any implementation of official rule, we can't say or we can't predict anything because I think we are sure enough that if Elon Musk is going to put ahead for any rule regarding H-1B workers, it's definitely going to be favoring for them. And it maybe the process becomes easier, maybe the limitation becomes more less. Different things we can expect, but till now, it's a proper unimaginable condition that we are going to talk upon. So we don't know what will happen or how the scenario will be under this, but as till now, Elon Musk is very much in favor of the H-1B workers and especially for the immigrants. So I think if he would be the one, who gets the power to make a decision on this, he will definitely go with it. But as Trump is here, so we can't predict anything. Trump can change his statement even within a second. So this is all about the official statement that has been put up, and we should look for it. And I think Ravi, thank you so much for joining us. You can also join by dialing this number that's on the screen and with the access code. So it would be great if you could also join us with a call, and we'll have a lovely conversation over there. So I think with that, Nipasa, why don't we go ahead and share the next topic that we covered on our last day?
Yes, yesterday is true. It was on how will the 2025 immigration laws shape the future of startup founders.
Mhm.
And we covered how, we have um, different things, the current situation of startup founders, where immigration laws have always been a hot topic for entrepreneurs, innovators, and especially for startup founders also, who are looking to launch or expand their companies in the US. And
Mhm.
in the past, immigration policies provided options like H-1B visas, which allowed highly skilled workers to enter the US. But the challenge was that where there wasn't specific visa designed for startup founders, and yes, there are still none of these, but we do have new rules that have been issued, and yes, I think that is what is going to be able to help these innovators and entrepreneurs. So we
Mhm.
hear that now entrepreneurs are going to be able to sponsor H-1B visas for themselves, right, Sam?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
that's a very, very important update which we covered yesterday. And
Mhm.
yeah, the future of immigration law, it really looks like it's going to be very good. I mean, this year there are going to be a lot of changes. We hear a lot of changes starting today, especially 17th of January. There are so many rules that are being um, for how to say, put up starting today, right? And they are to be followed.
Right.
So,
In fact, that
Sam,
H-1B modernization rule is going to implement today. And that's also a major shift, that we can see in the H-1B concept because there's a lot to see into that rule as DHS has announced that, on 17 January 2025, there will be new H-1B modernization rules. So, friends, it's very important to understand about this new modernization rule, and there are different things about the cap gap, about the grace period for the employers, also about the specialty occupation, then related course. So there's so much, that's including in this H-1B modernization rule. So please go ahead. You can also look back to my own webinar that I just had few hours before with attorney Karen Lee Polak, and she was actually explaining everything about the H-1B modernization rule, what steps you can take, also what are the changes that are coming, and how can you prepare yourself better to get a to I mean have a better chance for getting the approval of the H-1B visa. So you can go ahead and look for that event also. That was a great one, and there we shared a lot of information over there. And so there are different things, Napasa, that's coming around in today's 2025 year. And especially for the startup people, for the founders or for the entrepreneurs, I think till now it has been very much difficult for them to settle their business, and that too in a different nation. and without any startup visa, because they have to rely completely on the US company people, that when they are going to give them the visa approval, then only they are going to come to the US, and then they are going to work under them. And after working like for 5 to 6 years, after that, they are going to have their own startup or have their own business. But I think, as we discussed yesterday, it was also, we understood that there are different changes that's coming up. So now we can expect some startup visa that can be implemented this year or maybe next year, as soon as, that can happen. And I think that can be a great news, especially for the startup people, for the founders, for the entrepreneurs who are actually very much passionate about, having their own business. And it can definitely ease up their process and the challenges that they have been going throughout all the years, that will become very much easier for them, and that will become, the process will be easier. So I think it's going to be very much beneficial, not only for the entrepreneurs but also for the US people, because the entrepreneurs, they are also going to give work to those workers, and there will
Yeah.
be lots of employers, employees, a better way, a better I would say a better growth, towards the US nation, towards the US economy. So I think, yeah, these were some of the major details, that we talked yesterday. And is there something, Napasa, that I'm missing? Then please go ahead and put up more details on yesterday's discussion.
I mean, yes, so what you just said is also according to DHS, more entrepreneurs obtaining H-1B status will actually result in job creation, new industries, and even innovative solutions. And, entrepreneurs, they bring in fresh ideas and even drive the economic growth, making this rule change is actually a win-win for both the parties.
Hmm.
And if you compare it with the EB5, the investor visa. Well, the H1B visa is a temporary work visa, but then the EB5 is an investment based green card visa, green card program. And EB5 requires a minimum investment of about $800,000, whereas H1B now offers like a cost effective alternative. And yes, there are a lot of advantages, of H1B for entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs don't need substantial financial investments, and it's
Hmm.
easier to access for professionals with specialized skills and even limited resources. And yeah, if you talk about some of the advantages of EB5, it's like, it grants permanent residency for investors and their families, and there's no need to transition to other visa categories. And the flexibility but then in H1B is that entrepreneurs under H1B visa, they can later transition to EB5 or EB2, NIW, that is national interest waiver. And these are good categories as their business grows in the country.
Absolutely. And I think with that, Napasa, we already talked about a lot in this week, that what we have covered about this week. So I think it's almost time. It's almost 59 minutes, but I think let's take up our viewers' comment also. And after that, we can wrap up. So let's take Empire comment, and Empire is saying about, it's a supply and demand issue. Millions of qualified students graduate globally. Unfortunately, there aren't unlimited jobs. Let's use Canada as an example, because students and locals are competing for the same jobs. They have to restrict their rules slightly, because the jobs aren't unlimited. The same for the UK and Australia. Once the supply of jobs increase, opportunities will increase for students. I think that's very well put up, Empire, and I would like to know more about it. It's a great thing that you are coming ahead and discussing about it. So you could also let us know about, like, what's your call on that? What do you think about it? Do you think that there won't be any job opportunities in this coming year, or will the people will be suffering more regarding to job issues, or what is going to be, what the whole scenario will be? Because till now, we have seen, obviously there's been a lots of rush, lots of trade of war between tugs of war, sorry, between one job position, and there are lots of people who are just eyeing for that one position, and the other one takes away. So I think these are the things that we have been going through till now, but we hope that 2025 gives us more opportunity, brings up more chances, especially for the immigrants to go ahead and get their green cards approved, and especially for the permanent residents one, also for the one who are looking for the H-1B visa, they can also get their visas approved. And lots of changes are coming, friends, so stay tuned and stay connected. It's very important to stay update regarding all the changes that's happening, and that's why, to stay update, it's very important to like, share, and subscribe to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show, because there we upload daily immigration news as well, where we share all the latest updates that's happening around the world of immigration. And also we come up with our daily immigration doors event also, and where we discuss directly with our uh, viewers also, like what they think about it and what are the different perspective. So yeah, I think that's all from my end, and we already covered a lot. So Napasa, any end message or anything that you would like to share with our viewers in today's episode?
Yes, I can just say you have to stay vigilant, stay updated, do your research properly, and no matter which country you're from or are already an immigrant in the US, you have to stay updated with all the rules, regulations, the laws, and all these new changes that are coming up. Some of them starting today, some are coming up with the new administration. So yes, always stay updated, stay vigilant, stay focused with what you're there for, and work well. All the best, and that's all I can say for now.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and thank you so much, Nipasa, also for sharing this very much, in a detailed way, in a very good, informative way. And thank you so much, our folks, Empire. Then I don't remember, yeah, Priya Patel, then Chandra also, who commented here.
Yes.
It was really great. It could be much better if you could join us on call, but no problem. We'll be coming back again on Monday. From Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. EST, we come up with daily immigration doors, different topics to discuss on. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Meanwhile, thank you so much, everyone. Me and Napasa are signing off for now. So bye bye and take care.
Bye, everyone.